So I don't know. Did you watch the speech yesterday?
Yeah, good chunk of it. Yeah.
Okay. So I watched most of it myself. I've never seen him that disciplined. He did everything that he needed to do, and none of the other crap, which would have gotten him in trouble. He did not take on Ron DeSantis or anybody else in the GOP. Did not eat his own. He instead reminded people to vote in Georgia for Walker. He reminded people of his accomplishments and what America used to be like just 2 short years ago, and then laid out an agenda to bring it back. He also did not bring up the 2020 election, which I thought him being focused forward is the biggest thing that he had to do, and he did it last night. Now, because I call balls and strikes, there's the good things that Trump did. DeSantis, I think, stumbled yesterday. Stop it. Yesterday, he came out and he said something about Trump. I don't even remember what it was.
People asked him about Trump attacking him, and I think what his quote, he said it wasn't that bad. He said, incoming fire is part of the gig. I just say, look at the scoreboard from last week.
Yeah, here he is, cut 4.
I'd like to know what you think about Trump's big announcement and some of the less than flattering comments he has made about you.
Well, one of the things I've learned in this job is when you're leading, when you're getting things done, you take incoming fire. That's just the nature of it. I roll out of bed in the morning. I've got corporate media outlets that have a spasm, just the fact that I'm getting up in the morning, and it's constantly attacking. And this is just what's happened. I don't think any governor got attacked more, particularly by corporate media, than me over my 4-year term. And yet, I think what you learn is all that's just noise. And really what matters is, are you leading? Are you getting in front of issues? Are you delivering results for people? And are you standing up for folks? And if you do that, then none of that stuff matters. And that's what we've done. We focused on results and leadership. And, at the end of the day, I would just tell people to go check out the scoreboard from last Tuesday night. It was the greatest Republican victory in the history of the state of Florida.
I don't know. I think that's the right tone for him. I mean, he can't,
I would have just liked him. I just would have liked him to say, yeah, Trump helped me out, and I have no problem with Trump. And that's just me, nitpicky. But okay. I would just like somebody to surrender here and say, I don't have enemies in the GOP. I'd like somebody to play Ronald Reagan. And I thought Donald Trump did the best that Donald Trump can do last night. He didn't fire off any shots, which I thought was amazing. Of course, it wasn't enough for the media. Oh, boy. Donald Trump announces he's running for president in 2024. This is from the Washington Post. Donald Trump, the twice impeached former president who refused to concede defeat and inspired a failed attempt to overturn the 2020 election, culminating in a deadly attack on the U.S. Capitol, officially declared on Tuesday night that he's running to retake the White House in 2024. Well, I think that was totally fair and balanced, don't you? So let's look at CNN. Former President Donald Trump, aiming to become the only second commander-in-chief ever elected to 2 non-consecutive terms, announced Tuesday night he will seek the Republican presidential nomination. Then it goes into a quote. Trump delivered a relatively subdued speech, rife with spurious and exaggerated claims about his 4 years in office, despite a historically divisive presidency and his own role in inciting an attack on the U.S. So at least at CNN, it took him 3 paragraphs where the Washington Post got it all in at once. NPR. Donald Trump, who tried to overthrow the results of the 2020 presidential election and inspired a deadly riot at the Capitol in a desperate attempt to keep himself in power, announced he's running again for president in 2024.
I mean, but despite the bias, does anyone think that we forgot that he was president of the United States and that there was this contract? We all remember the story. You don't need to remind us. They all put it in the headlines. Donald Trump, who organized a coup, wants to be president. Okay, we got what you think about that story. You have covered it at length several times.
Yeah, but I think that there might be a senator from Pennsylvania who might remember that. So we have NPR. Let's see. Who else do we have? Well, Los Angeles Times. Trump doesn't want your vote in 2024, just your obedience while he trashes the U.S. again. So I think it was fair and balanced. I think they were
so dumb.
They were open. Then you have from Politico, 3 major cable news networks, CNN, Fox, and MSNBC, to different extents, limited their airtime of President Donald Trump's speech Tuesday evening, in which he announced his 2024 presidential campaign. MSNBC did not air the primetime speech at all. Fox and CNN cut away from the more than hour-long address. Trump verbally announced his candidacy. Fox cut away 15 minutes later than CNN and then switched back to Trump. This brings up one thing, and I just don't think that Trump is. He's very comfortable speaking. He is really good at large events like that. But I would have liked to see him do it in 20 minutes. And knowing that he is the best in off the cuff and long format. But to regain independence and people who are buying into all of the crap, he needs to have a much shorter thing so people will watch it and consume it. That would not normally consume these things. I mean, it could just be left up to his social team. Let's see what they do with his speech tonight. He also needs to get back onto Twitter. And I know he has his own Truth Social, but Mr. President, please take my advice. I didn't do YouTube up until, 2 years ago? And that's because we put everything we had into the Blaze. And it worked because we did build the Blaze, and the Blaze is stronger now than ever before. It served our core, but we realized we have to be wherever people are. So we're on everything, and it's important strategically to be on everything, no matter where people are. So I would urge you to try to get back on to social media.